Hello, welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today I have the pleasure of having with me Adam Dragoon from VB Macs. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
VB Macs, obviously you work with Macs, right?
We work with Macs.
Why don't you give us an overview of just everything you do?
Sure. So we offer service and repair to basically anything that Apple makes, hardware and software. I've got a pretty deep background in all things Apple, and so I'm able to not only train on the software side, if someone wants to know more of how to use their computer, or if there's something going wrong with the computer or some software, I can repair as well. So.
Right, and you do the whole Hampton Roads area.
Yep, all 7 cities. Yep.
And you keep up with all the latest things that they're doing, like the latest phones and all the features and.
It's kind of an addiction.
I think being an Apple customer is an addiction. Yeah. We were talking beforehand. I remember going to MacArthur Mall, and you could sling a cat through that place and not hit anybody. Yeah. And you go over to the Apple store; it's the only store. People out the door, Yeah. So it's like no recession here. Okay. So what got you involved in this business besides probably a love of Mac?
Yeah, I mean that's how it started. I have a background in design, so I used to be involved with making flyers and posters and banners, and so the Mac computer is by and large used most of the time for the design industry. So that's when I first got exposure to it, and this was going back 10, 15 years. And so, once I started learning it, just really loved it. Once the iPods and the iPhones started coming out, it only made things worse. And so when I moved to Virginia, had an opportunity to work in the Apple store in MacArthur Center, as you mentioned. And so there, I really was able to, get deep down.
That's a real training ground, I was going to say.
It really is, yeah. So it's not just running into the problems that I had every day, but running into the problems that everybody in Hampton Roads had with their Apples. And so it allowed me to do a lot more training. And so when I was there for about 3.5 years, I'd reached a certain level of training there, and so I thought, this would be really helpful to take to someone's house. As it was, people have to come to the Apple store to find that kind of level of training, and so I saw an opportunity to let's maybe take this same level of service and bring it right to someone's home or someone's office, and so that's what we hope to do.
And that's the vision for your company, is to be able to help people with be an Apple fanatic like
well,
successfully.
Certainly, I don't want people to to be who I am.
Yes,
but yeah, I want. The thing that I see is that a lot of people have these amazing computers sitting on their desk or at their laptop at home, and they're capable of so many things. And most people are using 10 to 20% of a Mac's capabilities, and so that's one of the big visions for our firm, is to help people to get the most out of their Mac.
Well, the iPhone certainly revolutionized the phone industry. I mean, it just changed everything with the introduction of a smartphone. But I can clearly say I probably don't use but maybe 50% of what the iPhone is capable of doing. But so it's incredible. Yeah, probably. Yeah, well, you saw an opening there, didn't you? But I use it for everything. Yeah. I don't know how I got along without it. And I had other phones, and I just never used all these features, and I just wouldn't use it because it wasn't easy.
Right.
But Apple made it so easy that you would actually use it. Right. They're just an amazing company that they come up with these innovative ideas initially. Of course, I know other companies seize on it and all, but originally, at least when Jobs was around, I don't know what's going to happen now, but incredible genius. So what do you think are the most important factors in the computer industry today?
Well, yeah, I think that it's really important to not just have the nuts and bolts understanding of computers, I think that tech guys like myself can be impersonable somehow. And one of the
Really?
problems that you run into is when you're trying to get help with your computer. If you go to some of these big box stores and want to get help with your computer, you run into a geeky person who can't explain anything to you, and you just give me your computer and I'll fix it and give it back to you. And so one of our big goals, one of our visions is not only do we want to know everything about Mac computers and Apple products, but I want to be able to relate to people and bring it down to, to understanding, so that people not only know what's happening, but they know why it's happening. And so I want to have the heart of a teacher, not just fixing tech gadgets.
Well, that's a real. You've got a real need there that could be filled. I mean, it really is, because you're absolutely right. I've dealt with a number of, of course, in my business, I deal with people like that all the time. But you're right. A lot of the techie people, they just are they're very tech savvy, but not very people savvy. Mm-hmm. And so they don't know how to relate sometimes and explain it. And you don't have to know everything about how the computer is doing everything, right, but you can know enough to make just a basic understanding. And once you get that, it's really quite simple.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so,
if I could relate a little story,
sure.
One of the reasons why we decided to jump in and start a business out of our home was because one day we were at a large electronics store, and we saw a woman looking for some accessories. She had obviously purchased a phone that day and was looking for some stuff. And my wife and I, we noticed that she was just obviously was very stressed out, looking for a case, looking for what kind of cables do I need, what kind of charger do I need. And we both commented that, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody that could just walk her through that process? Mm-hmm. That she doesn't have to catch the guy who's working there, who he's busy with 1,000 things, or she doesn't have to go down to the Apple store to find help. What if somebody could come to her? And so that was one of the big reasons why we decided to jump in and start this.
Oh, well, I think you're going to go far. You got a good niche there. So what are you mentioned the home customer? Because you do commercial too.
We do.
So what are some of the home services that you typically run across?
So this is probably, I'd say, half to 75% of our business are home customers. And so I am able to travel directly to people's places of where they live. And so the advantage to that is, you don't have to bring your computer. Some of these iMac computers are pretty heavy, and it's hard to move them around and unplug cables. So that's a big advantage, that I can come to people's houses, first of all. And usually what some of the big things that I've done are Mac upgrades. We call it a Mac tune-up service. And so a lot of computers that are 3 to 5 years old, where hard drives start to fail, where things start to slow down, I'm able to replace hard drives with newer technology, put in some memory, reinstall operating systems. And a lot of times, because the Mac is such a good build quality, you can take an older product and put a few new components in it, and it's almost like a brand new computer. Mm-hmm. And so rather than going and dropping another $1,000 on a brand new Mac, you could spend $300 or $400 on it and have it running just like a new Mac would. So that's been one of the big sources, as well as I mentioned before, doing software training for people who perhaps want to learn how to make a video on their home Mac. If you want to learn how to record a song, almost every Mac has those programs built into it, and mm-hmm. very few people are using them. So,
right.
So that's another big
There's
part.
just so much capability. How about commercially now? I know you do some commercial clients as well.
Yeah, so we have a couple of business customers where we've been able to work out either a 6-month or a year-long contract. And these are offices that have mostly Mac computers. Even in the situation where there's a few PCs, I'll hold my nose and help out
come
with
on.
PCs too. And so it's been good, because I can be kind of that go-to guy for everything in the office. So mm-hmm. if everybody needs to get software, I can manage that. And since I know the system so well, it has become really, really helpful for those businesses. I think also, Rory, it's important for me to let any future potential customers know that I'm not necessarily an IT guy. So I don't do the setup of networks and things like that. That's not my focus, although I've done a little bit of that. But my focus is really on the hardware, on the software, and on the training of people, how to use those things.
Okay, make them feel more comfortable
Sure.
on the day-to-day operations. Okay, you've been around, what, 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so what are you most proud of in the past 2 years that you've done?
Well, I
can tell you're excited about what you bring to people, so I see the passion there. So
Yeah, I try to be. I think that one of the things I'm most excited about is being able to see like an older computer. A lot of people there's a lot of turnover in the hardware industry, computer hardware. Let's get the latest and the greatest, let's get the newest, fastest and everything. So I get a lot of joy out of taking an older computer. Just today, I went over to a couple's house and they had an iMac from 2008 that was sitting on their desktop and just sitting there, and they're not using it because there's a display problem. So I took a look at it, and so I'm in the process now of putting a quote together to replace the display and get the thing running. And just for a few $100s, you can see that thing restored, and now it's not just a piece of furniture anymore, but you can do something on it. So I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. But mostly I like to see people getting more usage out of what they already own, and so it's really amazing because. Especially now you have so much interaction between the desktop computer and your mobile devices.
Right.
And a lot of people aren't utilizing that either. So your iPhone
the cloud.
Yeah, through the iCloud. And so just being able to connect and take everything that Apple engineers in Cupertino have thought about and just bringing it into people's lives is really fun.
Yeah, well, I know that years ago, when Bill Gates wrote his book, I forgot the name of it, something at the speed of thought or something. Anyway, but one of the things he had predicted back then was the software was going to go away, and everything was going to be in the cloud. And I remember back there going, yeah, right. Well, we're here. Yeah, we're here. So, okay. Is there anything I haven't talked about? You sound like you have a very interesting niche and one that's needed by an awful lot of Mac users. So is there anything that I didn't mention that you'd like to?
Well, I guess I want to say thank you for the opportunity to join you on the show today, and I appreciate getting the message out there. I would encourage anyone to check out our homepage at vbmax.com, our social sites, and our page on Thumbtack is where I get most of our business. You can read reviews about our previous service there. So. Other than that, I think we've covered all the big topics.
Much covered. Okay. All right. Well, if you have a Mac or maybe an iPhone, iPad, any Apple product, and need some help with it, maybe setting something up or getting something to work or just getting it to function more reliably, or at least allowing you to use more of its functions that it has, then give Adam a call. His contact information is at the end of this video, and it's also at the bottom of this page, and I'm sure he can help you out. He's brings a lot of knowledge and a lot of passion to what he's doing, and a very personable guy to talk to, so you'll understand what he's telling you. So it was great having you in here today, and I appreciate you coming in and wish you a great deal of success.
Thanks, Rory. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you. All right.